Every night, I find myself staring into the void, the darkness of my room mirroring the abyss that has opened within me, the source of my unending torment. A memory so grotesque, so viscerally horrifying that it has fractured my mind beyond repair. Exactly a year ago, it was Valentine's Day again, a day that was supposed to symbolize love and affection, but for me, it became a descent into madness. Her name was Anna, and to the world, she was the embodiment of grace and beauty. We were young, in love, or so I thought. Our relationship, filled with the promise of youth, took a sinister turn that Valentine's evening. Anna had a secret, one that she chose that day to reveal. A truth so macabre, it's hard to believe it's not the concoction of a fevered mind. As we sat in the dim light of my apartment, the air filled with the scent of roses and chocolate, she hesitated. Her voice, once filled with warmth, turned cold as she uttered, "There's something about me you don't know, something I have to show you tonight." My heart, racing with anticipation, could never have prepared for what came next. With hands trembling, she reached up to her face, and with a motion that seemed almost practiced, she began to peel it away. The sound, a sickening mix of tearing and suction, will haunt me forever. Beneath, there wasn't flesh. A grotesque tapestry of raw, exposed muscle and bone became the cataclysm that shattered the illusion of our young love. As I stumbled backward, my mind grappling with the horror before me, Anna's expression morphed from vulnerability to something dark and unreadable. It was clear she hadn't anticipated my reaction. She believed our bond was strong, enough to transcend even the most nightmarish truths. But faced with her unveiled horror, all I knew was fear, and I turned to flee, a primal instinct to escape, what my mind could not accept. Anna's reaction was immediate and terrifying. The tenderness that once defined her was consumed by a wild desperation, a fear that I would expose her secret to the world. She lunged at me, her movements unnaturally swift, her hands reaching not to caress but to restrain. I dodged, heart pounding, and sprinted towards the door, but the apartment that had been a sanctuary of love became a labyrinthine trap, each turn a potential dead end. The chase was a blur of terror and confusion. Objects that were once mundane, furniture, pictures on the wall, became obstacles in a nightmarish obstacle course. Anna was relentless, her face, or what remained of it, twisted in a macabre mask of anger and despair. The sight of those writhing, parasitic things beneath her skin, visible through the translucent sheath that covered her muscles, fueled my terror to new heights. In a desperate bid for escape, I made it to the balcony, the cold night air slapping my face, a cruel reminder of the reality I was living. Anna was close behind, her breathing ragged, a sound that would haunt my dreams forever. She caught me at the railing, her grip iron tight, her fingers cold and unnaturally strong. The drop behind me promised a different kind of oblivion, but facing Anna felt far worse. The altercation that followed was violent and chaotic. Anna, in her desperation, revealed strength that belied her appearance. She clawed at me, not with the intent to kill, but to silence, to ensure her secret remained just that. But amidst the struggle, her true intention became horrifically clear. She managed to pin me to the ground, her hands pressing against my throat, not to suffocate, but to paralyze with fear. Her face, or the grotesque absence of it, hovered inches from mine. "You can't leave me," she hissed, her voice a chilling mix of pleading and threat. "You won't expose me. You love me. Remember." In that moment, the realization dawned, the depth of her madness, the impossibility of escaping unscathed. Anna's final act was one of pure horror. As I stumbled backward, she lunged, not to restrain, but to harm. Her hand, aimed with terrifying precision, caught my eye. The pain was immediate and blinding, a white-hot agony that eclipsed all else. Her fingers, coated in the grotesque slime of her true form, burrowed into my flesh. An act not just of violence, but of violation, With a desperate surge of energy and strength born of terror, I pushed her off. I can't explain what had got into me. She flew off the edge of the balcony from 8 stories high. The last thing I remembered before darkness claimed me was Anna's face. No, the horror that lay beneath, etched into my vision, a sight so terrifying that it burned itself into my very soul. I awoke in hospital, my vision forever altered, one eye lost to Anna's final, desperate act. The physical scars were nothing compared to the psychological torment that followed. The authorities found her with limbs and organs splattered across the pavement. She was gone, dead, leaving behind only the wreckage of my life and mind. Now, confined to this mental hospital, I'm haunted not just by the memory of what I saw, but by what was done to me and what I had done to her. Anna's face, both the one she wore and the one she hid, is a constant, unending nightmare. The horror of that night, the chase, the violence, and the grotesque intimacy of her final attack has left me a broken man, trapped in a cycle of fear and madness.